Let's begin. The scent of rosemary and butter still lingered in the air. Caden liked his steak medium rare, with seared crust and pink warmth at the center, just the way Layla used to make it when things between them felt whole. But tonight, even the food tasted muted. He sat across the dinner table, watching her slice her meat too neatly. She didn't even look up when he asked how her day was. Just a nod, a faint smile, no eye contact. It wasn't the silence that unnerved him. It was the fact that she wasn't really there. For 7 years, their home pulsed with the kind of quiet intimacy people envied. Inside jokes while folding laundry, kissed shoulders in the morning, arguments that always ended with arms wrapped around one another under a blanket of forgiveness. But now, Layla's phone was always face down. Her laughter didn't come from the diaphragm anymore. It was polite, like a stranger's laugh. She dressed better leaving for her late yoga classes. Her perfume had changed too. Caden knew every version of her, and this one wasn't his. "You're quiet," he said softly, sipping his wine. Layla finally looked up. Her eyes didn't flinch. "So are you." Caden set down his fork. "Is there something we need to talk about?" She blinked, and something in her shifted, as if she'd been waiting for that question all week. "I've been thinking," she said. Her voice wasn't nervous. It was calm, practiced. "There's something I need you to hear, all the way through, without interrupting. Can you do that for me?" He nodded, stomach tight. "I've been feeling unfulfilled. Not by you, by me. And I've been wondering if, maybe, we should explore being with other people." Caden froze. Layla kept going. "Emotionally, physically, not to replace us, but to expand, to experience connection beyond the boundaries we've set. I want more from life, and from myself." His breath stilled. "You're asking to open our marriage?" "I'm asking to open myself to more," she corrected. "And I want you to come with me on that journey." That's when it hit him. She thinks this is a growth opportunity. Caden leaned back, staring at the woman he'd built a life with. "Is there someone else?" "No," she answered too quickly. "This isn't about someone. It's about possibility." 1,000 images exploded in his brain. Some faceless man gripping her hips, her laughing the way she used to, with someone else, her phone lighting up with messages she deleted before he saw them. "You want to sleep with other people," he said. Layla didn't deny it. "I want the freedom to feel, explore, not recklessly, ethically." That word, ethically, as if screwing someone behind the thin wall of their shared bedroom was noble if it had a hashtag in front of it. He pushed back from the table. "So what's my role here? Your anchor? Your emotional pet while you go find your next high?" "Don't say that," she whispered. "I love you. That hasn't changed." He stared, unable to breathe. But everything else has. Later that night, they lay in bed, inches apart, yet it felt like miles. Caden stared at the ceiling. Her breathing was soft beside him, like a stranger had fallen asleep next to his pain. He didn't ask again if there was someone else, because deep down, he already knew. Layla started sleeping on the couch to give space. She wasn't cruel. She still made him coffee, still left notes, but it felt transactional, mechanical, like guilt masked in manners. He began noticing things. The text from a contact labeled Ren. Her sudden obsession with journaling. Her new lingerie, still with tags. She said it was self-discovery. But to Caden, it felt like slow-motion abandonment. He told no one. Not yet. Not even his best friend Julian, who would have told him to run. Instead, he began documenting. Writing everything. Dates. Conversations. Passwords. Backup drives. Because if she was going to set fire to their life, he would damn well learn how to walk through it without burning. The following Thursday, Caden found himself pacing the aisles of a 24-hour grocery store at midnight. His hands were empty. He wasn't there to buy anything. He just couldn't sleep. The lights overhead buzzed. His phone vibrated in his jacket again. Another, working late laptop computer, text from Layla. Third one this week. He stared at the screen, thumbs motionless, before finally replying. "Cool. Stay safe." It wasn't sarcasm. He meant it, because he still loved her. But the version of her that returned home every night wasn't the one he married. She still kissed his cheek when she walked in, still dropped her keys in the bowl, still asked, "How was your day?" But it was always followed by her heading straight to the shower, then sitting up in bed with her laptop, glowing, buzzing, whispering. Caden started wondering what was louder, her betrayal or his silence. 2 nights later, She left again, said she was catching up with Ren at a downtown bar. Ren. That damn emoji next to her name. A leaf. Autumn. Change. Decay. Caden waited until the Uber pulled off, then jumped in his car. He wasn't proud, but curiosity had become a noose, and he was done choking on it. 10:41 p.m. He parked across the street, engine off. Watched Layla walk into the dim-lit place in a long beige trench coat and those wine-red heels she only wore once before, on their honeymoon. 10:53 p.m. A tall man in a black coat slid into the booth beside her. Not opposite. Beside. Caden gripped the wheel tighter. His knuckles went pale. 11:22 p.m. Her hand brushed the man's wrist. Just a touch. Casual. Intentional. 11:37 p.m. They kissed. Not just a peck. A slow, familiar press of lips that said this wasn't the first time. Caden's body didn't move, but his entire soul collapsed. He stared, breathless, until the image burned into his eyes. He didn't follow them. He didn't need to. He already knew what came next. The next morning, Layla walked into the kitchen humming. Humming. She reached for her coffee mug, the one with "Love You More" printed on it. Caden was already seated at the table, laptop open, a calm expression masking the tornado beneath his skin. "You're up early," she smiled, sipping. "Did you enjoy your night?" She froze mid-sip. "What? Your night?" "With Ren." Her eyes narrowed. "Why are you asking that way?" "I saw you." Her hand shook slightly. The mug clinked as she set it down. "Caden." He held up a hand. "Don't. Please. I don't want the lies. Just the truth." She stared. And then, surprisingly, she nodded. "Yes," she whispered. "It happened. I didn't plan it, but I won't pretend it didn't. I was going to tell you. When? I don't know. She took a shaky breath. "I thought if I waited, it would feel clearer. I didn't want to hurt you." He let out a bitter laugh. "You didn't want to hurt me. So you slept with someone else?" Layla looked down. "I needed to feel alive. I felt like I was disappearing in this house. In my own skin." "What about me?" he snapped. "What do you think I've been feeling? Like I've been building a life with a woman who stopped looking at me 2 months ago. You took everything and said you needed more. I was lonely too, Caden," she whispered. "But I didn't know how to talk to you anymore." "You never even tried," he said, voice flat. "You made the decision. Without me." That night, Caden didn't sleep. He sat in his office, lit only by the glow of his monitors. He opened a new document and titled it, "The Exit Plan." Because he knew something now, something dangerous and clear. He wasn't going to cry anymore. He wasn't going to beg. He wasn't going to leave shattered. He was going to leave powerful. For 3 weeks, Caden played the part of the broken husband. Quiet, respectful, detached. Layla took it as resignation. She thought he'd accepted it. And that's exactly what he wanted her to think. Because beneath the surface, Caden had become a different man. The version of him who sobbed in hotel parking lots. Dead. The one who panicked every time she didn't text back. Buried. This version? Cold. Focused. Strategic. He started with her phone. Not by invading it. No. He watched what she didn't say. The name she mentioned in passing. The way she lit up when she got a message. The time she forgot her phone on silent. Her passcode was easy. Their wedding anniversary. She never changed it. She never thought she needed to. What he found wasn't shocking, but it was sickening. Voice notes. From Ren. "God, your laugh does things to me. I dreamed about you again last night. You taste like weekends and sin. When can I have you again?" I can't believe he still doesn't know. He must be clueless. Caden didn't flinch. He simply copied them, backed them up to an encrypted folder, saved them as labeled files. 01. Lust.wave. 02. Betrayal.wave. 03. Mockery.wave. Phase 2. Her lover's life. Ren's real name was Tobias Renner. Finance guy. Mid-level investment consultant. 36. Recently divorced. Attended a high-end gym Layla used to work for before launching her remote job. Caden hired a PI. Not some sketchy guy in a hoodie, but a former corporate investigator who specialized in relationship intelligence. Discretion was guaranteed. So was results. In 2 weeks, Caden had everything. Tobias's work history. A video of Tobias kissing another woman, not Layla, outside a boutique hotel. A secondary apartment rented under a fake LLC. 3 additional women he was seeing. Apparently, Open relationships weren't about honesty for Tobias. They were about options. Kaden invited Layla to dinner, her favorite Thai place. She wore red lipstick. That meant she was seeing Tobias after. "Thanks for doing this," she said sweetly, sipping her lemongrass tea. "No need to thank me," he replied calmly. "We haven't really had a chance to talk." They ate. They laughed. For a moment, Kaden watched her smile and remembered the woman who used to rub his shoulders during thunderstorms. But then he leaned forward and said quietly, "Tobias says hi." Her entire body froze. "I'm sorry." From the other night, outside the Lombard Suites. He was with Elena. Or maybe she goes by Elle. Blonde, thin, very touchy. Her breath stopped. "I don't understand," she began. "I do," Kaden said, voice like ice. "I understand everything now." She blinked rapidly. "You hired someone?" "No. I protected myself. While you were out exploring your desires, I was busy exploring your lies." "Kaden," she whispered. "I know about the apartment," he said. "The burner phone, the private meetups, and the other women. You weren't his only open door." Silence. "I wasn't going to tell you," he said, leaning back. "But I figured, why should he have all the fun?" "What does that mean?" she asked, her voice shaking. He stood, tossing a few bills on the table. "It means the man who watched you fall in love with someone else just took that someone's job." "What?" Kaden smiled. "Oh, you didn't know? Tobias worked for Faro Holdings, right? I made them an offer. Silent partner. They bought him out last week." Her eyes widened. "Let's just say, he'll have more time for his connections now." That night, Layla didn't come home. She stayed out, probably to confirm everything. Kaden didn't wait up. He poured himself a drink, stepped out onto the balcony, and stared at the city lights. He wasn't done yet. Revenge wasn't loud. It was silent, strategic, slow, and satisfying. For the next 2 weeks, Layla unraveled. It didn't happen all at once. No explosion, no fiery confrontation. It started with the silence. Kaden stopped asking her where she went, stopped responding to her soft attempts at conversation. He became neutral, not cold, not angry, just gone. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually gone. That scared her more than any screaming match could have. Because somewhere in her fractured heart, Layla still expected to be chased. The cracks began at work. On a rainy Tuesday, she was called into a casual meeting with HR. Apparently, some photos had surfaced online. Nothing explicit, but enough to raise eyebrows. A series of filtered Instagram stories posted by Tobias's other lover, the blonde from the hotel. The captions weren't subtle. "When you find out you're not the only one he's ethically exploring with." Upside down face hashtag healing hashtag open wounds hashtag open marriage. A tag photo, Layla, laughing, holding Tobias's hand in a coffee shop. A comment underneath. "This your girl too at Renner_?" Layla's employer had a conservative board. They didn't like scandals. The HR director didn't even blink as she said, "We'll need to review your contract and discuss brand impact." That afternoon, Layla's company email was suspended. By Friday, she was let go, quietly, politely, but without a severance. Her inbox, gone. Her projects, reassigned. Her reputation, tainted. That night, she came home early. Kaden was already there, sitting on a couch, watching old home videos on mute. Her laugh echoing from a screen without sound. She hesitated by the door. "Can we talk?" He didn't look up. "Go ahead." Her voice cracked. "I lost my job." Still no response. They said it was image conflict, but it's because of Tobias. Because of this mess. Silence. "I didn't think it would go this far," she whispered. Kaden paused the video. The screen froze on an image of her holding his face and laughing. "You know what's sad?" he said calmly. "I still remember the exact feeling I had in that moment. I thought you were the safest place I'd ever known." She looked down. "I don't want him anymore," she said softly. "I haven't seen him in a week. That's not the point." "Then what is?" she asked, voice desperate. "You won. You ruined him. You dismantled everything. You got your revenge. What else is left?" He stood up slowly and walked toward her. "You think this was about revenge?" She blinked. "No, Layla. Revenge is easy. Revenge is burning someone down because they hurt you. What I did was harder." "Then what was this?" "It was a lesson," he said, inches from her, "about what it feels like to be forgotten, to be erased while you're still standing there, begging to be seen." Her eyes welled with tears. I made a mistake. I chased something hollow. I thought you were slipping away and— No, he interrupted. You pushed me away. Every time I tried to fix things, you ran. And when I finally stopped chasing, you thought it was proof I didn't care. I miss you, she whispered. I don't, he replied. 3 days later, she packed her things. Not because he asked, because the silence was louder than anything she could bear. Caden stood by the window, hands in his pockets, as she walked past with her suitcase. No begging, no speeches, just a quiet goodbye. As she reached the door, she turned. Is there someone else? He looked at her and smiled, but said nothing. The apartment was quiet again, not like before. This time it was peaceful, the kind of silence that comes when all debts are paid, when there's nothing left to grieve, no more lies to catch, no more dreams to pretend into existence. Just stillness. Caden didn't miss her perfume, or the way she used to hum while folding towels, or the flick of her hair when she was flustered, because those memories weren't real anymore. They belonged to a woman who no longer existed. He changed the locks that night, not out of anger, out of necessity. Closure didn't come with drama. It came with a key that no longer fit and a mailbox that no longer accepted her name. Layla moved into a studio apartment on the other side of town, a one-bedroom above a flower shop. Cheap, cold, no balcony. She tried to rebuild, applying for jobs, pitching freelance gigs, writing long journal entries she never read twice. She posted self-reflective captions on social media. Things like, growth hurts before it heals. Becoming is never painless. But I'm still here. I own my story. All of it. But no one commented. Not even her old circle of open thinkers. Because when you betray the one person who held you at your lowest, the world stops clapping for your independence. Then came the letter. 3 months after the divorce was finalized. She found it tucked inside a plain brown envelope, slid beneath her door, with only her name written on the front in Caden's familiar handwriting. She hesitated, then opened it. Dear Layla, I've rewritten this letter a dozen times. Sometimes angry, sometimes detached, sometimes sad. But this is the version I'll send. Because this is the version that finally feels clean. You once told me you wanted more from life. I used to resent you for that. But now I understand it. You wanted to feel alive. You just forgot to notice the man beside you who was building that life every day. With his hands, his time, his quiet loyalty. You didn't cheat on me with Tobias. You cheated on us, with your fear. You saw our routine and mistook it for a cage. But I was never your warden. I was your home. And you walked away from that home with your head high and your hands empty, thinking you could build another one with borrowed bricks. You couldn't. I've watched you try. I watched you post quotes about healing and reinvention, hoping someone would believe you. But I know you too well. I know when your eyes lie, even when your mouth stays shut. And I also know this. You don't miss me. You miss being loved by me. There's a difference. One day, you'll realize that. And when you do, it won't crush you. It'll hollow you. Because no amount of growth will ever refill the space where my love once lived. And that's the part you'll never get back. Caden. Layla stared at the letter for a long time. The words didn't sting. They burned. Because every line was true. Not exaggerated. Not dramatized. Just real. And she wasn't used to reality anymore. She folded the paper carefully, pressed it to her chest, closed her eyes, and cried. For the man who loved her. For the choices she couldn't undo. And for the future that no longer had a place for her. Elsewhere, Caden didn't wait for a reply. He had already left town for a new role in Portland, a consulting job that came with less stress, more creative freedom, and a Lakeview apartment that echoed with potential. He spent his mornings running by the shore, his nights sipping wine with new colleagues, new minds, new energies. He wasn't chasing closure anymore, because when you heal right, you don't chase anything. You become something worth being chased.